The number three type of relationship is what we call the aggressive. It's important that you take note of this. The aggressive and the accommodating kind of relationship. Now, please, let's get down to the core. When we talk about accommodating and aggressive, it simply tells you the character of the relationship. We're saying that in this relationship, there are two individuals involved, and one of them is the aggressive type. The other one is the accommodating type. In actual fact, that is the reason why their relationship have lasted, because of the accommodating person. Otherwise, if an aggressive and an aggressive person meet together, a firstborn and a firstborn who are equally aggressive, the likelihood is that that marriage will not last for too long. But what do you do when you have a situation where there is an aggressive partner and an accommodating partner? What normally happens is that the aggressive partner becomes very controlling and very domineering. What that does is that he makes or she makes the other partner who is accommodating to become fearful, intimidated, and brought into a state of submission. I'm going to say that again. When you have an aggressive and an accommodating partner, what normally happens is that the aggressive partner actually uses intimidation, causes fear, and brings the other partner into a state of submission. Now, why do aggressive people behave like that? It has been discovered from research that most aggressive partners were children who, when they were growing up, had dysfunctional upbringing. They had a very terrible dysfunctional upbringing. So they must now use physical, mental, sexual, and emotional abuse to keep their partners under control. So most individuals who grew up in homes where they were abused, where they were disempowered, where they were less empowered, where they were not given room to express themselves, when they grow up, they want to automatically show that, listen to me, I'm not going to let my mother suppress me, my father suppress me, and now my partner is going to suppress me. No. Unconsciously, or what we call subliminally, they will not know when they are fighting a person who is not at war with them. So you want to assert yourself on your partner. You want to go ahead and begin to, like, listen, you are in control. So there's a little bit of a controlling. In fact, there's much more of a controlling person and a competitive person in an aggressive person. And the reason for aggression is because of previous suppression. Oh my goodness. Are you catching something right now? Why don't you write that down? The reason for aggression is because of previous suppressions. A person who was suppressed as a child will become an adult who is aggressive. You suffered suppression, now you're going to use aggression. The opposite is the situation. There are children who suffered oppression. They suffered suppression when they were growing up. And watch this carefully. When they grow up, if they never have anybody help them through the process to be healed, they will look for relationships that resembles the one they came out from. So they will be looking for not just suppression, not just oppression, but submission. And this time around, it is what we call a negative submission, not the kind of submission the Bible talks about. Everyone watching me who is an aggressive partner, let me quickly say that for a moment, you may seem to be winning, but the day is going to come when your partner will break loose. The sad part of it is that sometimes it happens in the 20th year of your marriage, in the 24th year of your marriage, in the 28th year of your marriage. And then people begin to say, why will you give up a 28-year-old marriage? No, the marriage is not 28 years old. The marriage actually had been gone long ago. They've only been cohabiting for a long time. So it's critical for you to understand that if you're an aggressive person, you always shut down your partner. You don't let your partner express herself or himself. You are feared in the relationship. When you show up, your partner is intimidated by whatever means, by criticism, by contempt, whatever it is that you do, your partner fears you, your wife fears you, your husband fears you. It's critical for you to understand that in that atmosphere of fear, intimidation, and suppression of the feelings of your partner, the marriage will not last. First, there will be mental health issues. In that kind of marriage, there will be depression, sadness, there will be all kinds of stuff. There will be health crisis. There will be death sometimes. And if no death, then there will be divorce. So I'm speaking to someone who is aggressive. Please work on your aggression. Ask the Spirit of God to come on the inside of you. You cannot be filled with the Spirit of God and not have control over your aggressive tendencies. Because the fruit of the Spirit of God is contrary to an aggressive tendency. In the same vein, for you who is accommodating in the name of submission, it is important for you to learn to speak out and speak up. It's time to start talking about how you feel, what you think. You are a human being. You have the right to self-determination and self-expression. And that can be done in an atmosphere of respect, in an atmosphere of courtesy. You don't have to be aggressive to do that. You have the right to express yourself. Haven't talked about aggressive and accommodating relationships. Let me quickly take you to number 4, which is what we call disconnected and parallel relationship. Oh, you're gonna like this. Disconnected and parallel relationship. This is a relationship where the two partners in the relationship gradually, this is Sam, this is Mary. We were very, very close before. But in a disconnected and parallel relationship, one of us gradually began to disconnect. And disconnection begins with drifting. Please take note of the word drift. That's the word drift. And please watch this. Can I illustrate with this? I think I should illustrate with this duster. This is what a drift is. Please watch this carefully. This is gradual. It didn't fall. It was a drift. Just gradual drift. 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 Gradual. It's gradual. It's gradual. Emotional drift. Physically, we are drifting. Sexually, we are beginning to drift as married couples. Financially, we are drifting. It's a gradual thing. There is something we call marital drift, relational drift, where people that were into each other allow little things to come into their lives, into their relationships, and it causes them to drift. As a result of this drift, what then begins to happen is that conversationally, we don't talk again as we used to talk. Not only that, emotionally, we are not connected as we used to be connected. Not only that, sexually, we have gone apart. Financially, we don't open up to each other anymore because there is a drift. And as a result of a drift, one of us became disconnected. And the other party is now beginning to live a parallel line. Meaning you and I don't connect. We live in the same house, but we don't connect. The goal of every healthy marriage, let's assume we all started as singles. We came together. Watch how the triangle forms. We were single apart. But as a result of marriage, we came together. When we came together, watch this carefully. As the years go by, it is expected. This is what a healthy marriage should look like. A healthy marriage is one whereby when the marriage gets older, the couples get closer. What is going on in many marriages today is this. We started as singles. Marriage brought us together. Watch this, please. Instead of us to becoming this way, the older the marriage gets, the farther away we go from each other. Sam is going his way. Mary is going her way. So much so that by the 20th year of the marriage, we are far apart. But here's where the game lies. The reason why we've not divorced is because of what's in between us. It is not marital bond. It is children. So the children are keeping us together whilst we are drifting apart. Your marriage is not supposed to be a V. This is a V marriage. A V marriage is a marriage where the older the couples get, the farther apart they go. Our relationship is supposed to be a triangle. The older we get, the closer we get. Any marriage that remains like this, a V marriage, disconnected, and a marriage where we're parallel, what normally happens in that kind of marriage is a situation whereby you're going to be having so much of affairs. Because the man wants his wife, she's not there. The woman wants her husband, he's not there. Only God can keep such couples from having affairs. Otherwise, what you're going to have is affair, because there's a drift. How do we fix all of this? By using the fifth kind of relationship. The fifth kind of marriage or relationship that we have is what we call the acceptance and balance relationship. This is the most healthiest of all relationships. It is a relationship where one partner focuses, or both partners focus on accepting one another. I will talk about that. Number two, they also focus on balance. They focus on having a healthy marriage. They work together as a team. They complement each other. They recognize each other's strengths and they recognize each other's weaknesses. And they actively commit themselves to covering up for each other's weaknesses. It's critical to understand that acceptance is what makes marriages work. Stop trying to change your partner before you accept your partner. That's not how it works. Accept your partner for your partner to change. People change when they are accepted. Number two, there must be balance. There must be balance. And in balancing, we work as a team. What that means is everybody brings in something that the person is good at. This kind of relationship is the one that leads to happy endings. It pyramids up. It goes to the triangle peak we're talking about. How I pray and I wish that your marriage and your relationship will just turn out like that. And I know it will. I know you can make it happen. But it all begins with focusing on acceptance and balance. It all begins with getting rid of the aggressive tendency. It all begins with getting rid of trying to control your partner. It is not a proof of strength. What a moment that was. Thank you so very much for having the recap of what we did last week. And I'm so impressed that you took the time out to take some notes. But trust me, what you're about to hear today is going to be a build-up, a super build-up on what you have heard so far. So I'd like you now to invite your friends because we're about to begin the Relationship Masterclass for today. And listen, I want to start on a very jovial note. If you're in Nigeria and you see this 3 words or these 3 letters, can anybody tell me what it is? I wish I can give you the microphone, connect you so that you can get to connect with us right now. When you see this word, EBA, can anybody tell me the right pronunciation for this word in Nigeria? I know the Igbos will pronounce it in a way, the Hausas will pronounce it in a way, and everybody will try to pronounce it based on your language. But if anybody can try that in Yoruba for me, how do you pronounce this word? I know, you guessed it right. We call it Eba. It's called Eba. But in the world of marriage and relationship, this is not Eba. All right? This is called emotional bank account. Emotional bank account. All right? Okay, so take note. What we're going to be doing today is to look at what drives healthy and unhealthy marriage. An account, all right? Every functional relationship with a bank always begins with having a functional account opened. You have to open a savings account, a current account. You have to open a domiciliary account. Follow me, what I'm about to teach you today will tremendously help you. And if you have someone who is not married or someone who is married and they're having crisis in their relationship, somebody in your office, call them in a hurry. And you know, when I tell you that, you will always get to confirm that I mean what I say. Call them in a hurry because they will thank you for getting them on board today. So let's get started. Every time you want to have a bank account, anytime you want to have a relationship with a bank, you open an account. It could be a check-ins account, a current, a savings, a domiciliary account, whatever kind of account that should be. All right? But it all begins with opening a functional account. Now, an account in a bank becomes healthy only when the account has consistent deposit and permissible withdrawals. I'm going to be careful with my words, all right? You can only have a functional and a healthy account with a bank when the bank account experiences what we call consistent deposit and permissible withdrawals. All right? Permissible withdrawal means you cannot withdraw more than you have in the bank account. If you're going to withdraw more than you have in a bank account, you move into another kind of relationship with the bank. All right? So follow me carefully now. Opening an account with a bank requires consistent activity in the bank, deposit, withdrawals, and the rest of that. And the withdrawal must be within permissible limit. Now, anytime you open an account with a bank and you do not consistently fund that account, you do not consistently operate that account, what normally happens is that the bank will declare your account dormant. All right? Yes, you have an account, but it is a dormant account. All right? Yes, you have an account, but it is a dormant account because, yes, you open an account with us, but it's not operational. You don't operate the account. You don't make deposits and the rest of that. All right? Follow me carefully again today. Similarly, if you have any account with a bank, watch this carefully, where you make deposit into the account and then you begin to withdraw. Watch this carefully. And you withdraw more than you have in the account. They will say to you, you have overdrawn your account. You have overdrawn your account. You're not going to miss what I'm about to share with you today. Trust me, it's going to really help you. So when you put your money in the account and you pull out more than what you have, you go into the negative, they say you have overdrawn your account. They will ask for your attention. But here's a twist. You can also enter into a relationship with the bank such that the bank will permit you to withdraw more than you have in the account. They call that overdraft. All right? Now, but that requires a different arrangement and you will have to pay back. So, follow me carefully. When it comes to relationship, when it comes to marriage, it operates similarly. In every relationship or marriage, it all begins with opening a personal, emotional account with somebody else. So watch this carefully. I'd like you to give me your attention, and trust me, you would really, really like this today. This is Sam Oye, and this is Mary Oye, okay? For the two of us to come into a relationship which leads to a marriage, which leads to the building of a family. Remember, I told you how everything flows. It begins with individuals and they start a relationship, and relationship goes to marriage. Marriage leads to family. All right? So here is Mary Oye and Sam Oye. We've come together. We want to begin a relationship. The first thing we do is to permit each other to have access into our emotional accounts. All right? It's important to know that we must open an emotional account with each other. I'm going to say that again. We open an emotional account with each other. Meaning, I have now the right to come into Mary and get to know how she is doing, to some extent, whilst we are still single. All right? So I didn't have to have sex with Mary before marriage. I didn't have to romance her. I didn't have to kiss her. I didn't have to fondle with her body. That did not happen during our courtship. But we cared for each other. She gave me the right to have access into her world of emotions. She guarded that from somebody else, but opened it up to me. Now, that became the foundation for relationship. Don't forget, we have to open an emotional account. It is that emotional account, the right to invade each other's emotions, the right to inquire about each other's emotion, and be given the right to hear a good answer. All right? So we have to open an emotional account. The emotional account that we open now gives us the right to begin a relationship. The relationship gave us the right to end up in marriage. Marriage gave us the right to build a family. So follow me carefully. The state, the collective state of our emotions, the collective state of our emotional account will always affect the state of our relationship and ultimately the state of our marriage. So, if you want to know how a relationship is doing, look into their emotional account. Follow me here today. Look into their emotional account. How well are we doing emotionally? Very important. Having stated that, you never forget what I'm about to say now. Never play what I'm about to say now. You cannot have a healthy marriage or relationship if you do not take consistent measures, if you do not give consistent attention to the emotional well-being of your partner's emotional account. Give attention to your partner's emotional account. If her emotional account is not doing well, it will affect the state of your relationship. Follow me carefully. I know you are new to emotional bank account, so I'm laying the foundation for you. Don't forget what I've said so far. Relationships are built on emotional well-being. Your relationship cannot be better than the state of your emotions. The collective state of your emotions as two individuals will ultimately determine the climate and the atmosphere around your relationship, which can affect your marriage. All right? Your relationship or marriage will get into trouble when you withdraw more than you make deposit into your partner's emotional account. We're getting into the heart of it now. Follow me carefully now. This is Sam Oye. Please note this. Sam has something called an emotional bank. Mary has an emotional bank. It is my job as Sam Oye to always make deposit into Mary's emotional bank. All right? Mary will also be making deposit into my emotional bank. Trust me, this is going to help you. Now, watch this carefully. If Mary begins to withdraw more than she deposits into my emotional account, eventually our relationship will run into trouble. Now, you're going to know how people withdraw from each other's accounts today. And I know some of us are really going to be very sorry that we have been hurting each other. You are withdrawing more than you deposited. Now, with 100 over what you deposited, I may endure if it happens once. But if you consistently withdraw more than you have deposited on the inside, in my emotional account, trouble will begin. In the bank, when you begin to consistently withdraw from the account that you have deposited into, when you consistently withdraw more than you have deposited, when you withdraw consistently more than you have deposited, normally they can even take you to what they call debit bureau, where they will report you, and it makes it difficult for you to open bank account anywhere else. So follow me carefully. It is dangerous to be in relationship where you don't deposit into your partner's emotional account and you are constantly withdrawing. After a while, your relationship will run into a big problem. Our assignment here today is to show you how to deposit and how people withdraw. I will decide today to start by showing you how people withdraw before I show you how people make deposit. But what is emotional bank account? What is emotional bank account? Emotional bank account is simply how good or how bad your partner feels about you. How good or how bad your partner feels about trusting you, about relating with you. How good and how bad your partner feels about relating with you and about trusting you. Emotional bank account is about feeling. It's about how Mary feels about trusting me, about relating with me. It's how she's feeling. It's also about how satisfied or dissatisfied she is with trusting me and relating with me. So never forget that emotional bank account, it's about how good or how bad your partner feels about trusting and relating with you. It is also how satisfied or dissatisfied your partner feels about relating with you or not relating with you. Watch this carefully. Emotional bank account is driven by the collective memory of all our emotional encounters and experiences in relationship. I will break that down. Emotional bank account, our emotional bank account is always driven by the memories, please take note, by the memories of the encounters and the experiences we have had whilst relating with one another. So my wife, her emotional bank account is either emptied by relating with me or filled by relating with me. Are you getting that now? Don't miss that. Your partner's emotional bank account is always being filled or emptied by interaction with you. So think about this. Every interaction you have with your partner, is it making a deposit or a withdrawal from your partner's emotion? Is it making your partner feel more satisfied relating with you or dissatisfied? Is it making your partner feel good about trusting and relating with you, or is it making your partner feel bad about trusting and relating with you? I'm asking you a question again. This is what emotional bank account is all about. Trust me, it's going to get deeper as we go on now. Emotional bank account is all about how my partner is feeling about loving and continuing with me based on daily interaction. So is my interaction with her today adding to our emotional bank account in a healthy way? Or is it making a withdrawal? Is it emptying her of joy? Is it withdrawing her joy? Is it that anytime I meet my wife, she loses her joy? Is it that every time I interact with my wife, she loses her happiness, her self-esteem, her pride, her joy? Here's a question. What kind of feeling is your interaction with your partner as a single? What kind of feeling is your interaction living with your partner? Is it feeling the person's emotional account or withdrawing joy? Is it feeling the person with joy, with peace, with longing for more of you? Is it feeling the person with the desire for more intimacy, more time, more conversation with you? Or is every interaction with your partner always leaving your partner drained, emptied, making your partner wish, I never talk to you and I will not want to talk to you again? Somebody is already saying, Papa, I'm richly blessed. Don't worry, calm down. Trust me, what you're about to hear next will tremendously bless you. And I'm excited about this. I'm super excited about it. So watch this carefully. Your relationship with your partner, never forget what I'm sharing with you today. Your relationship with your partner is almost like a visit to the bank every day. You don't just go to the bank and just roam around and walk out of the bank. Every time you go to the bank, there is a transaction. There is a transaction. You are either making a deposit or you are making a withdrawal. There is something the bank always teaches you. When you make your deposit, when you open an account, they will tell you that there is certain amount you are not supposed to withdraw below. What they are trying to teach you is be smart also in relationship, not to overly draw beyond your capacity or your partner's capacity to let you draw. Let me not be ahead of my game. So follow me carefully. Every time you interact with your partner, you are either making a withdrawal of joy, withdrawal of peace, withdrawal of self-confidence, withdrawal of self-worth. You are either making a withdrawal or you are making a deposit. What are you depositing? Joy, peace, self-worth, self-confidence. All right? You are either making a withdrawal or you are making a deposit whenever you interact on a daily basis. Okay. Having said that, how does it work? How does emotional bank account work? Write this down. Bad treatment plus bad feeling equals withdrawal. Meaning, anytime you treat your partner in such a way that you actually treat the person in a bad way, what that evokes is bad feelings. Bad treatment plus bad feeling equals withdrawal. Meaning you didn't make a good deposit in your partner's account, in your partner's emotions. You have actually created a bad memory in your partner's emotions, in your partner's mind. All right? I'm going to say that again. If your encounter with your partner leaves a bad treatment and a bad feeling behind, what you have done is that you have made a withdrawal from your partner's emotional account. You don't see it, but it happens. You have made a withdrawal from your partner's account. Hello, sir. Hello, ma. Every time you treat your husband in a bad way, single lady, every time you treat that guy you're about to marry in a bad way, you actually create a bad feeling in the guy. What has happened is that you've made a withdrawal from the person's emotional bank account. But watch this carefully. Nobody goes into marriage with an emotional bank account that is empty. I can't marry you if already I am feeling empty in terms of my feelings towards you. So I hope you are not emptying the emotional account of a man you hope to walk to the altar with you. The same thing with you, sir. You are dating, you are courting a lady, you're planning to marry her. In every meeting you have with her, always treat her in a bad way. You treat her badly. You leave her with bad feelings. What you have done is that days may pass, moments may pass, but you've made a withdrawal from her emotion. What has happened is that your account has just been debited. You have made a withdrawal from her account by the way you treat her. Now, in the same vein, when a married man does the same to his wife, when a married woman does the same to her husband, you treat your partner in a very bad way. You speak to your partner in a very bad way. You act to your partner in a very bad way, man or woman. The bottom line is such a bad treatment creates bad feelings, and bad feelings results in withdrawal from your partner's emotional account. Okay, so let's take it to the next level. There is something called good treatment. Good treatment. When you treat someone in a good way, you create good feelings. And what that does is that it makes a deposit of good memory about you in the person. You are making a deposit in your partner's account. What that is doing is that it is strengthening your relationship. It is building a qualitative relationship. So some people, when they interact, they make withdrawal by treating their partner so badly, and they leave the persons with bad feelings. Withdrawal. Debiting. But then there are those who treat their partners in such a nice and a memorable way, crediting. So they credit the person's account, and the person remembers them. I'm sure most of you will not forget the person who sent you money recently. When you got a lot in your account, I'm sure you were so excited. Anytime you hear the person's name again, you are excited because the last time that you remember the person actually made a deposit into your account. I'm sure you don't remember people, you don't remember the people who take from you. I'm sure you don't remember them in good light. You don't remember them with good memories. You wish you don't meet them again. Those who took money from you. Now, in the same vein, none of us wants to keep company with people whose interaction with us always leaves us with a withdrawal, with a deficit. Question then comes, Pastor Sam, how do people withdraw from their partner's emotions, their partner's emotional bank account? How do we end up withdrawing without even knowing? Some of us don't even know that our actions are tantamount to withdrawing You don't even know that what you are doing is actually leading to withdrawal from your partner's account. Well, the Bible says in the time of ignorance, God winked his eyes. He forgave you. But from now, you have to make sure you stop it. Repent. All right? What are some of the things that we do that makes a withdrawal from our partner's account? Number one is called betrayal. Betraying your partner, betraying your partner's trust consistently. It's called betrayal. When you betray your partner's trust consistently, you are withdrawing from your partner's emotional bank account. Your partner will gradually begin to drift away from you. Your partner will not want to be with you. If you are not married, it might be the beginning of the end of your relationship. If you are married, it might also be the beginning of the end of your marriage. Betrayal actually gives bad treatment to our partners. When you betray your partner's trust, when you break your promise to your partner, it is called betrayal. You made a promise, you made a vow to your partner, but you are breaking the same. It is betrayal. What that does is that it withdraws from your partner's emotions. Such a person cannot truly love you like the way the person would have loved to love you. Such a person will no longer be as excited as he used to be or she used to be about you. Why? There's been a withdrawal from the person's emotional bank account. Pastor Sam, is there a possibility for an account that was once filled to be and has been emptied to be filled again? Yes, and trust me, it takes work. I want you to invite your friends, because what I'm about to share with you will heal a lot of marriages. Okay, so don't forget this, that one of the major ways by which people withdraw from each other's emotional bank account is by betraying each other. Betraying each other before family members. Where you betray your wife, your husband, your fiance, you betray the person before your family. You betray the person before your friends, before your colleagues, before your pastor. When you betray, what happens is you withdraw. The person's emotional bank account has been emptied by your actions. Now later you will want the person to love you. Unfortunately, you emptied the account from which you want love. This is actually what is going on in our relationships and in our marriages, unknowingly to most of us. Yes, Diamond said betrayal is very common in society today. I understand that you are not supposed to do that because you are a child of God. So don't forget, number one major source of withdrawal. Every time you betray, you withdraw. Write that down, please. Every time you betray, you withdraw. So betrayal is withdrawal. It takes healing for the person who was betrayed to trust you again. Number two, ignoring your partner's interest. How do people withdraw from each other's emotional bank account? Why do suddenly someone who used to love you, why will the person just change overnight and stop loving you? You kept withdrawing from the person's love account. The person who truly loves you gradually began to notice that you are ignoring his or her interest. You don't give attention to my interest. You don't care about what I care about. My passion does not excite you. My interest is not of concern to you. You don't even give attention to what excites me and to what actually makes me come alive. You don't give attention to it. That can empty the love, the passion that I have for you. it can weaken your partner's emotional bank account, because you constantly ignore your partner. And that is why in Africa, some of the men, when they close at night, in the evening from work, instead of going home, they go to bush bars, they go to clubs where they can go and meet people who are excited about what excites them. Some of them just go to watch football, where people who are excited about football get to sit down and watch with them, because there's a wife at home who, when I'm watching football, will be telling me constantly to turn down the volume of your TV. You are just making too much, and why will you be shouting in the house? So my wife is not excited about what excites me. And gradually, watch this carefully, she will not know that lack of interest in what interests me is emptying my emotional bank account. So much so that because of lack of interest in what I'm interested in, my passion for her, my love for her, my affinity for her will begin to wane down. And on the ground of football, I may begin to lose interest in a woman that I have. And she will be wondering how that she's cooking well, she is dressing well, she's smelling nice, she wears all the colognes, she dresses with the three-piece, transparent gown in the night. She wears some of the hottest pants to seduce him, and the man is just not seduced. The man is just not excited about you. Why? You missed him. You lost him. You're not taking interest in his interest. The same thing with us men. When we don't take interest in what interests our wives, we lose them. We lose them. Be concerned about her concerns. Let what matters to her matter to you. Let her fear become your fear. Let her worry become your concern. Address her fears. Address her worries. It is critical that we begin to give attention to this. I told you it's going to be very deep today. These are the ways by which we make withdrawals without knowing. So the woman goes around, she's trying to look naked, hot in the room. She wears some powerful G-strings and she's moving around the house, wondering why this guy is not excited about her. On the contrary, your husband can even tell you, you better get yourself dressed up and get out of this place. And you're wondering, what have I done wrong? It's a build-up. It began in a place where you least expected. And the reason is because you are not educated about what exactly leads to emotional bank accounts being withdrawn or being overdrawn. Every time you refuse to take interest in what interests your partner, trust me, you cannot have a very healthy and functional emotional account in the person. I'm trying to imagine what my world will look like today if my wife is not excited about what I'm excited about, which is helping people, ministering to people, teaching and training people. It's what I love to do. It's my calling. Imagine if I'm married to a woman who is not excited about it. I would have been done long ago. Remember David. David married a woman called Michal. The woman was not excited about what David was excited about. David was excited about God's presence. Woo! David was excited about the ark of God. For David, having a big house that does not have God's presence in it, having a kingdom without the presence of God in the kingdom, for David that was nothing. Having money without God's presence was nothing to David. Having cars without God's presence was nothing to David. Having popularity, fame without the presence of God meant nothing to David. So when David came into the kingdom, David said, I'm going after the ark of God. I'm going for the ark of God. He went for the ark of God. First time, he didn't get it right. Second time, that's to show you his heart was there. Second time, he picked up the ark of God and was coming to Jerusalem. And David was dancing. A king was dancing. He kept dancing. He danced until he became naked. That is the king. Question number one, where was his wife? Number two, why didn't she go with them? Number three, where was she when he was dancing? Right in the room. What was she doing? Watching from the window. Excited? No. When he got home, the first thing David's wife would say to him is, what does this rubbish mean? That a king of your caliber will make himself naked in the front of all these little girls who are just my subjects in the kingdom. Don't you have some sense of shame and decency? Were you not taught decorum? Were you not taught poise and elegance? Were you not taught how to conduct yourself? Don't you know the etiquette of kingship and royalty? Don't you know there's a way kings conduct themselves? Oh my goodness. And David looked at that girl. He said, I feel for you. You see, you don't even understand that I was dancing naked before the God who took your father out and put me there. And the reason I'm dancing naked before my God is because if God can take your father out of the position and put me there, that same God can take me out of that place. So before that God who lifted me up, I was dancing naked. But then he said, listen girl, you are about to see me go vile. This is just the beginning. Here's the point, everybody. She wasn't excited about what David was excited about. Brooke Shields and Andre Agassi. Andre Agassi was a tennis player. Brooke Shields was into Hollywood. She wasn't excited about what he was excited about. It led to their divorce. Most of the divorces you are having today is as a result of one partner not taking interest in the other party's interest. As a result of which resentment will build up, bitterness will build up, which eventually causes drifts, and drifts will lead to disconnect. Disconnect will lead to parallel relationship. Parallel relationship, emotional divorce for a while will lead to physical divorce. Okay, so don't forget number two way by which people withdraw from their partner's emotional bank account without knowing is ignoring your partner's interest. Write that down. The first one is betraying your partner's trust consistently. That's how you withdraw instead of deposit into your partner's emotional bank account. Number one, betraying your partner's trust consistently. Number two is constant ignoring of your partner's interest. Number three, write this down. Blame shifting on your partner. Yes, if nobody told you, I'm going to tell you that every time you think you are smart and you refuse to take responsibility for your wrongdoing, on the contrary, you enter the Adamic mode, where God said to Adam, Adam, where art thou? What have you done? And he said, no, it's the woman you gave me. We call it diversionary tactics. We call it blame shifting. It is actually avoiding, escaping, and transferring responsibility. You avoid taking responsibility. You escape taking responsibility. You transfer responsibility. Any of such acts actually confers on such a person irresponsibility. So when you blame shift, you are actually avoiding responsibility. You are escaping responsibility. You are transferring the responsibility for what has happened to somebody else. We say normally you are conferring upon yourself irresponsibility as a status. So once you think you are smart, those who are very knowledgeable are looking at you as an irresponsible person. So from today, take note that your partner was quiet and you kept on shifting blames. Silence doesn't mean you are the winner because you are louder. All right? In actual fact, you won the argument, you won in blame shifting, but what you did not know you did was that you emptied your partner's emotional account. Your partner was looking at you, and whilst you were excited that you were making points, Your partner was just saying, listen, this is not the kind of person I want to spend the rest of my life with. No. This is getting too much. Well, let me just give more time. So already you've lost on that ground. Something else happened. You betray your partner's trust again. Your account keeps getting depleted. You will push yourself to a point whereby one day your partner looks at the account between two of you and there's nothing left. I'm sure you know that if you don't have money in a bank's account, I'm sure you don't even need to, you don't need to close the account. If there's no money in a bank's account, I'm sure you don't need to close account. Just walk away. Because there's nothing in the account. There's nothing. In the same vein, today we are seeing men who will just leave a note behind. I'm gone for good. I'm done with this marriage. Why? There's nothing anymore between two of us. We've been living together. Our account for each other, our emotional account keeps getting depleted by every day, every action, every behavior. We keep depleting each other's love account. And as days go by, years go by, watch this carefully. As days go by, years go by, a marriage that is supposed to head in this direction, I told you the older we get, the closer we should go. Unfortunately, instead of the marriage getting closer, the older we get, you reverse the V. Reverse the V. We are going apart. With every interaction, we keep going apart. With every attitude, every behavior, we keep going apart. It's called a V marriage. From the beginning, we are already drifting. It's a V marriage. And what keeps widening the V, what keeps widening our going apart, is our constant behaviors that causes us to make withdrawals from each other's emotional bank account. One of them is betrayal of each other's trust. Another one is blame shifting. You never accept responsibility for your irresponsibility. You will always throw the blame on somebody else. It was when she spoke to me, that was when I slapped her. If she did not speak to me, I would not have slapped her. In the world of responsibility, it is true that she's responsible for speaking to you. But on the contrary, you are responsible for slapping her because you had the choice not to slap her. You chose to slap her. So you are responsible for slapping her. Blame shifting empties. When I watch you as a wife and you are just blame shifting, I will be quiet. I will allow you win the argument. But what you don't know, you've lost points. You've emptied our emotional account. The same thing as a man. Your wife is watching you. You are blame shifting. Instead of taking responsibility for not servicing the car and it led to the knocking of the car, the next thing you are doing is, did I not tell you that we're not supposed to travel? You told me we must travel. Now we are traveling. See, now the car, the engine has knocked. Hello, sir. It's not the travel that knocked the engine. Didn't you see other cars passing by? They are traveling farther than you are. Hello, sir. The cars passing by are traveling farther than where you're going to. You're just going 200 kilometers, 50 kilometers into your journey. The engine knocked. Now you're blaming your wife because I told you we're not supposed to. Hello, sir. You did not service your car. That's the point. Why blame her for that? You were not looking at the road. You were using your phone. And as you were using your phone, you ran into a grocery shop. You damaged a grocery shop. And the next thing you're going to say is that, well, sweetheart, you know it was you I was trying to talk to. I was trying to talk to you. That's what you see what that has led me to. If not because you call. Hello, sir. Take responsibility. Real men take responsibility. Real men take responsibility. I am responsible. That's how real men speak. So listen to me. Avoiding responsibility, escaping responsibility, transferring responsibility is a sign of a weak man. In fact, we will always say anyone who avoids responsibility, anyone who escapes responsibility, transfers responsibility, is not a man, he is a male. He is yet to go from being a male to become a man, no matter what his age is. Because manhood is not a function of age, it's a function of process. That a man who was a male had gone through a process and has evolved as a man. And the ultimate test of who a man is the capacity to handle responsibility. In the same vein, madam, learn to be responsible. You were cooking, you got distracted with movie, and the food got burnt. Are you going to blame your husband now for providing light? Are you going to say it's because he paid for cable? What would you say is the reason why you allowed that to happen? Just say, I'm sorry for making all of that to happen. Just take responsibility. And it's great for us to do this so we can model it before our children. Oh, good to hear this. I hear somebody saying, I really need, Marion, you said I really needed to hear this. Thank you so very much, Marion. I'm so glad that this is adding value to you. Please, everyone watching, share with your friends. I'm just at number 4, and I'm going to be running through within the next 9 minutes, and someone who is your friend needs to hear this. Now, we're talking about how we withdraw from emotional bank accounts. How we withdraw. And we mentioned 3 things already. Number 4 is self-importance and arrogance before your partner. Demonstrating self-importance and arrogance before your partner. When you act in a proud, unteachable, inflexible, rigid, uncorrectable, and demonstrate the unwillingness to get feedback, when you demonstrate such high level of self-importance, when you demonstrate such high level of ignorance or arrogance, what that does is that it makes a withdrawal from your partner's account. Your partner just said, this is not the kind of person I should spend my life with. I shouldn't be having a conversation with this kind of person. So the emotional account of your partner is being withdrawn. The love, the passion, the zeal, the zest that the person has for you is being withdrawn by watching your behavior. So you're wondering, why is it that this person is no more excited about me? My wife and I had to have some conversation, and she had to take me back memory lane. I said, there was a day you said this, and I'm like, no, I didn't mean that. But that has already informed, that made a withdrawal from my wife's account. So the excitement she used to have about me then waned. Thank God we had the conversation. And I remember she said to me that the healing process is going to be gradual. So now I tread cautiously. It's important for you to understand that when you act in such a manner whereby you demonstrate self-importance, you are destroying your relationship. You make your partner feel criticized and contempt. You demonstrate contempt before your partner. It makes your partner feel less. And how can someone who feels less love you more? You made me feel less. How do you want me to love you more? I'm going to say it again. How do you want someone who you made to feel less to love you more? Okay, maybe I should say it again. How do you want someone who you treated less to treat you more? I'm going to say it again. How do you want someone who you treated less, you treated like trash, to treat you like gold? You've already mentored the person on how to treat you. You mentored the person by treating the person like trash, and now you're expecting the person to produce a different result. I need to move quickly here. All right. Number 5. What do we do that makes us make withdrawal from our partner's emotional bank account such that eventually they have nothing to offer us again? Disloyalty to your partner. When you act in a disloyal way to your partner, you are making a withdrawal. When you are not faithful to your vows, you are not faithful to your promise, in the absence of your partner, when you are in America, you are in London, when your partner is not there, that lack of commitment to the promise you made, the vow you made to your partner, in the absence of your partner, is a disloyal tendency. It is unfaithfulness to your vows and your promise. And such, when discovered, makes a withdrawal from your partner's emotional bank account. Such relationships don't remain the same because of affairs, infidelity, cheating, betrayal, adultery, and the rest of that. Let's quickly move to number 6. Dishonoring and disrespecting your partner, privately or publicly. Dishonoring or disrespecting your partner, privately or publicly. Hey, please, can we talk? You cannot be dishonoring your man or your woman publicly or privately. You cannot disrespect your partner privately or publicly and expect the person to come out in love and show you love and sing Johnny man, Johnny come on. How do you want me to sing love song in a strange place in my life when you've treated me so badly, you've treated me dishonorably, you've treated me disrespectfully, you've demeaned me, you've belittled me, you've done it publicly and privately, and you want me now to sing love song to you? It's not going to work. You've emptied the account. You emptied the account by how you treated me, and now you want me to give you from where? The account is empty. You made a large withdrawal when you disrespected me. It was not just a 10,000 withdrawal. See, betrayal comes with a price. Disrespect and dishonor comes with a price. What the price is for women may not be what the price is for men. For instance, as a man, if you disrespect a man and you dishonor a man, oh my goodness, it's like taking oxygen and carbon dioxide away. You just killed him. You've just literally almost emptied the account. There's almost nothing left. As a woman, you may manage around that. That may not be total withdrawal for you. But for a man, dishonor and disrespect is the end of the game. When you don't give him sex, he feels bad. But it doesn't necessarily mean the end of the game. He feels rejected. It's painful. But when you go to dishonor and disrespect, you've just simply released a nuclear bomb, an intercontinental missile. Most men, I don't care to know how spiritual they are, most men can't recover from that except by the grace of God. The same thing with women. You cannot belittle your wife before your brothers, your sisters, before your family, your extended family. You belittle her, you whitewash her, you demean her, you dishonor her, you disrespect her. Your family members even came, they had to slap your wife and you sat down. You were watching them beat your wife. And then you now got home and you're not saying, like, come and show me love. Show you what? What do you want her to show you? You've emptied her account. Her love account for you has been emptied. Miss Yemisi said, may the Lord forgive all of us couples. I tell you, that's why I told you from the beginning. I said we're going to repent today. This is what we do to each other. We do it all to each other. Listen to me. Nobody listening to me now will say I am innocent. I wasn't innocent. I had to deal with these issues in my life. My wife and I had to talk about it. We are still a work in progress. So please take note of this. It is critical for you to understand that you cannot be dishonoring each other and disrespect each other and want each other to bounce back and come back and show you love like nothing happened. No, it happened. You dishonored me. Because your husband lost a job, you know when this man used to have money, This man will lavish anything on you. Suddenly, because he lost money, you will join your family and insult your husband. You forgot that God will still lift him up again, and that he's watching your attitude now that he's on the ground. God never leaves his men on the ground. He always lifts them up. But men always watch attitudes when they are on the ground. Some men have had to come to limelight and change their wives. Why? Because when they were down, she ill-treated them. So please, it's important for you to understand that dishonor empties your emotional bank account. Dishonor, when someone dishonors you, it empties your emotional bank account. And those of us who are in the attitude of dishonoring, to dishonor means you look at somebody and you withdraw honor. You treat them as people without value. To disrespect means to rubbish what somebody is accomplishing. Number 7, insensitivity to your partner's love language and emotional needs. Insensitivity to your partner's love language. You don't care whether your partner's love language is affirmation, physical touch, giving of gifts, quality time, physical touch. It doesn't matter to you. You don't care. What's all this? What's all this rubbish? You know, I don't care about all this. What's all this physical love, touch? I don't care about all that. Hey, sir, you cannot act like that and expect to get the best from your partner. You cannot be insensitive to your partner's love language. First, you need to know your own love language. How do you receive love? So you don't frustrate your partner and expect them to love you in a way you don't even know how you should be loved. First, know your love language. My love language is quality time. I love it when my wife spends time with me. That's how I receive love. But that's not how I give love. I give love through gifts. I love buying gifts. I love giving gifts, material gifts, money gifts. I love giving. So I love to give. But giving is not how my wife receives love. My wife receives love through act of service. Get involved. Help her do something. And that's how also she gives love. So we're different. It's important that you know your partner's love language and be sensitive to it. Once you ignore your partner's love language, you are emptying your emotional love bank account. Because you are telling the person, I don't care about how you feel. And I don't care about what really matters to you. You don't have to say it, but you are communicating it. When you ignore your partner's love need, your partner's love need or emotional need for respect, for intimacy, for communication, when you ignore that, you are emptying your partner's emotional love account. Lastly, when you avoid confronting and resolving conflict with your partner, whenever there are issues for us to talk about, and there's no need, let's just move on. You always evade talking about difficult issues. You don't like us to talk about conflict related issue. Let's avoid it. Let's bury it. Let's repress it. Let's suppress it. No, don't worry. It's okay. It's nothing anymore. I'm already gone. You are not gone anywhere. 5 weeks down the line, you are still making reference to it. And the partner feels offended. I thought you gave me an impression that this matter was over. Now again, you are the one bringing it up. And yet you are the one that will not let us resolve issues. It destroys emotional bank account. These are some, because of my time, these are some of the things that we do that makes us empty our partner's emotional bank account. So much so that we are asking them to love us. We are asking them to show us love. And they have nothing else to offer because we emptied them. I emptied her and I'm expecting her to show up. She has nothing more to offer because I emptied her. How do we get everything back on track? I'll be showing you tomorrow how to start making deposits into emotional bank accounts. Trust me, you don't want to miss out on it. How do you begin to make deposits into emotional bank accounts? I'm going to be dealing with that from tomorrow, and I'm sure that you are going to get your friends from the office. Why don't you do something? Copy the link of this broadcast today. Send it to a friend you truly care about. Their marriage is going through a rocky moment. If you believe what I've shared with you is of value, why don't you share it also with them? They will thank you for doing so. I love you so very much, and I can't wait to host you tomorrow morning for the prophetic prayer hour. Listen, Moses Blease will be joining us in worship tomorrow morning during the prophetic prayer hour, 5:50 a.m. West African time. If you have never joined us before, make sure you do. And if you've been a part of us, you need to come with 5 of your friends to the prophetic prayer altar tomorrow morning, and come with your 3 prayer requests. I guess by now you only have 2 left or 1. Come with whatever is left of your prayer requests as we engage God in the place of prayer and see him move supernaturally in our lives. Hey, if you've offended your partner, why don't you start tonight? Be humble enough tonight to go to your partner and say, sweetheart, I'm sorry. I just realized I've been withdrawing from your emotional bank account. I've not been making good deposit. Would you consider forgiving me? I've been betraying your trust. I've been speaking rudely to you. I've been dishonoring, disrespecting you. Whatever it is you've been doing that you've observed today, why don't you reach out to your partner today and say, I'm very sorry. Listen, saying sorry doesn't mean you are less. In actual fact, those who say sorry are the wisest. Those who say sorry are the strongest. Why don't you join the group of the wisest and the strongest who say sorry? Do it tonight, and the God of heaven will bless you. Stop waiting for the call. Be the first to put the call through. I love you so very much. My wife is in the background saying thank you for joining us today. And some of you always ask, Pastor Sam, how much do we pay for this? This is absolutely free. It is our own commitment to your own well-being. If however you feel you want to be generous, I just cannot leave a meeting like this and not put something down. There are some numbers scrolling on the screen. You can actually send your generosity, your contribution, your donation to the account on the screen. To that, we say, may the Lord God bless you for this act of generosity. And may the Lord use what you are releasing as a means by which he brings peace into your relationship, joy into your marriage, and stability to your family. In Jesus' mighty name. I love you. And please remember that if Jesus is not yet the Lord of your life, remember that this is not a thing we can do by ourselves. I can't do this without Jesus. You can't do it without Jesus. So if you like to have Jesus as your Lord and your Savior, why don't you just say with me, dear Lord Jesus, I recognize that you are my Lord and my Savior. You died on the cross. You were buried. On the 3rd day you rose again. I receive you now as my Lord and my personal Savior. And I ask that from today, let your spirit begin to help me walk with you so that I can walk with my partner. In Jesus' mighty name, amen and amen. We love you. If you just said that prayer, you want us to help you continue your relationship with God, take note of the number on the screen, reach out to us, and we'll get back with you. If you have any question, any concern, please take note that we have a number on the screen. You can actually send your question to the number on the screen, and we will attend to you tomorrow in the evening, 8 p.m. West African time, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, United States. The Lord bless you. Bye-bye.